You found it. Your home for the best content on your favorite team, the Fighting Tigers of LSU. Do us a favor. Subscribe to the channel. Leave your comments below. And be sure to smash that like button. We always have Shea Dixon with us on Tuesdays. We talk recruiting. It was a massive recruiting weekend this past weekend for LSU, as they had a dozen official visitors on campus. Some huge prospects like we've talked about. Bo Bentley, the top 10 quarterback in the country out of Salina, Texas. Manuel Iannacho, the number 2 overall player in the country. Big offensive lineman out of Maryland. He was on campus. Well, there were a couple of other prospects as well that we didn't necessarily talk about with Shea on Tuesday, but these prospects, spoke to Rivals after their visits. And it was a piece that Rivals put out there, and it was a handful of recruits speaking on the record about their visits to their respective visits this past weekend. One of them was Duce Geralds. This is what Duce Gerald said about his visit at LSU. And again, this is a top 50, top 100, depending on what site you subscribe to. One of the top 100 players in the country, defensive lineman, he said, I think about the possibilities of me returning to my place of birth, coming home, possibly leading them to another championship in Baton Rouge. It's easy and just feels like home, as it was for half of my life. Very clearly, the allure of coming home for Deuce Geralds is something that LSU is going to be able to tug on those heartstrings. If you missed it, this was Shea before that official visit on this show, talking and giving context about Deuce Geralds.
Deuce Geralds out of Georgia is top 5 D lineman, top 100 player, but his dad played at Scotlandville and signed with Frank Wilson at Ole Miss. So he's still got a lot of family in Baton Rouge. Obviously, he told me before, grew up kind of beyond rooting for Ole Miss, and his dad had played there, but being a fan of LSU because that's where all of his family was from. So even though he's got Georgia next to his name, and that's where he's ranked in kind of the state rankings coming out of Collins Hill, I think a lot of people consider him to be have enough Baton Rouge ties to where it's pretty notable. And now that he's a top 5 D lineman in the country, we'll see if Frank Wilson and Kyle Williams can't pull some magic from back in the Ole Miss days and work those connections on a guy like Deuce Geralds.
And it's one thing for us to say it, for Shea to say it about Gerald's family ties to Louisiana. It's another when Gerald's on the record says, I'm going to spend half my life there, go back to place of my birth, help them win a championship. There's allure to that. 6'1", 275 in the on-3 composite. He's the number 94 overall player. For what it's worth, Rivals has him as the number 33 overall player, and ESPN has him as the number 39 overall player. So he's as high as the number 33 overall player in the country at any position out of Swanee, Georgia. He's a defensive tackle. And the other thing that's notable, and every time we talk about defensive tackles moving forward, remember transitioning from Bo Davis to Kyle Williams, this is something we're going to point out. 6'1", 275. What, we said it a million times already, what does Kyle Williams want? Look at Bernard Gooden, who they just got from South Florida. The contrast, Gooden and Sadir Mitchell, the defensive tackle out of Texas that they took under Bo Davis, who's 6'4", 355. Bernard Gooden, 6'1", 285. Here's Deuce Gerald, 6'1", 275. Kyle Williams wants stronger, quicker, explosive, strong hands, get upfield, make plays, be disruptive interior defensive lineman. This fits the bill of what Kyle Williams wants. And when you look at the defensive line, what's going to be really interesting, like Jacobian Guillory is back in 2025 for his 6th season. I just mentioned, Bernard Gooden, the defensive lineman who transferred in from South Florida. Both those guys will be gone. Everybody else still has eligibility. Ahmad Bro, Dom McKinley, Sean Washington can have his 5th season in 2026 if he comes back. Sadir Mitchell could certainly be back. Zion Williams, Brandon Brown, Buddy Mathis. You might add transfers. So, that's 2, 4, 7 defensive tackles, presumably that are back for or could be back for 2026. You're always very likely going to lose somebody or multiple players, bring more in, your high school class, whatever it may be. But you can never have enough linemen. I feel like you always got to go recruit 3 or 4 linemen in every class. And maybe Deuce Gerald's a top 100 overall prospect whose ties to Louisiana, fits what Kyle Williams wants. That could be one. The other prospect who visited this weekend that spoke in this Rivals piece on the record is a young guy named Zaden Krempin. Zaden Krempin. He's an offensive lineman, and he told Rivals, the attention to detail stood out the most. LSU staff made me and my family feel right at home. Hanging out with the Bordelon and Weeks brothers was a blast. I bet it was. LSU is the team to beat right now. I love everything about this program. Don't forget that second to last line. LSU is the team to beat right now. That's not me saying it. That's the recruit saying it. They are my team to beat. And if you have the recruit saying they are the team to beat, then, yeah, you've got my attention. Again, for what it's worth, if we look at the prospect profile, Zaden Krempin, a 6'4.5", 265-pound interior offensive lineman. He's a composite 4-star. In the composite, he's number 225 nationally, the 18th best interior lineman, the 31st best player in Texas. That's a guy who you're probably looking at someone who's going to grow into his body at 6'4.5", 265. When you look at the rankings, he's as high as number 181 nationally by Rivals. 24/7 has him as the 17th best interior lineman in the country. So you could tell it's a prospect. You look at Brad Davis wants him. It makes sense. The Bordelon brothers and the Weeks brothers hosted him. And you are going to need offensive line numbers. You are going to need offensive line numbers in this class because you're going to lose Braylon Moore. You're going to lose Josh Thompson. There's always going to be transfers. Like DJ Chester will be back, and presumably Tyree Adams and Weston Davis will be back. But what happens with Cohen Eccles and Solomon Thomas and Carius Carter? You've got good young offensive linemen in the queue here, but you have very little experience, and you've got to go fortify with numbers. And another thing we always talk about with recruiting, this is just my overall feeling on it. It's not that this is the be-all, end-all, just the way I feel about it. I'm less concerned with your star ranking or your rating than I am with your offer list. And we can look at Zaden Krempin as a composite number 225 guy or whatever. He's been offered by Texas and SMU and Michigan and Texas A&M and LSU and Oklahoma and Ohio State and Clemson. I mean, dude's got offers from all the biggest programs. And the On3 recruiting prediction machine projects him with 87% to end up at Texas. This is why the quote that I just mentioned is so important. On3 is projecting him 84% to Texas. But the prospect himself said, quote, LSU is the team to beat right now. I love everything about this program. I get it. You can get emotional. You can get caught up in all of the bells and whistles of an OV when you're 18 years old, and then you go to a campus and you're hanging out with coaches and players and you put the jersey on and you're holding the trophies and they're feeding you and it's awesome. Nobody ever comes out of an official visit going, man, that sucked. It just doesn't happen. I mean, imagine, think back for a minute when you were 18, like when I was 18 listening to LFO, and someone's going to fly me and my family to their campus when I'm used to playing in a high school stadium, maybe a couple thousand people watching, no matter how good a high school program you're from. Then all of a sudden you're walking through 102,000-seat Tiger Stadium. They got your name and lights. Your family's there. They're bringing you to whatever restaurant it is to dine you, and they're putting your name on a jersey and all that sort of stuff. I mean, yeah, everybody loves an official visit. But clearly LSU made an impression on Zaden Krempin, and the thing we've always talked about with Brian Kelly, 2 positions, more than any other. 2 positions Brian Kelly pumps into the NFL: tight end, offensive line. Might have another one there. We'll keep you posted. Hey, thanks so much for watching. Please leave your comments. I love to interact. And be sure to hit the red subscribe button below.